So I get to do this talk at this men's retreat in the beginning of October, and it's titled "The Church," and it got me thinking about my view of the end of the world, my eschatology, if you will. And there's some prompts for this talk. And it's, you're supposed to talk about how bad things are. And, of course, that's true. It's easy to look at the world and be like, oh, man, things are going to hell in a handbasket. And, that's an easy one. But I've got this different point of view. I've got this point of view that the kingdom of God is advancing like never before. More miracles, more dead raising, more people from Muslim and Asian cultures and faiths that are coming to the Lord, and revivals and moves of God starting all over the place. Even in this country, there's so much going on, so much good stuff. It's amazing. So, like I said, got me thinking about my eschatology. So I did some digging and started looking at some different ideas than what I was raised on. One of the facets that I was raised on was, of course, that the end was going to be very, very, very bad. The world was going to get very, 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 very dark. We didn't believe in a full rapture. I was taught that there was going to be 144,000 really special people that they got to get raptured, and then everybody else had to stick it out. And there was a mix of martyrs and overcomers that didn't get chewed up in the machine, but basically that things were going to be horrible and terrible and grim. And basically when Jesus came back, it was a rescue mission to get his poor little battered bride off of the planet, the ones that hadn't been killed yet. So pretty dim, pretty grim, and definitely just doesn't feel right at all. Feels like, yeah. Anyways, so went back and looked, heard this teaching on the Nebuchadnezzar dream that Daniel interpreted, which is a whole crazy story in itself. This crazy king has a dream, and then he tells everybody they're going to die if they can't tell him what the dream was and the interpretation. So eventually Daniel gets called in, and he's able to do it. And so the dream, as many of you guys probably know, the first four parts of this big statue, let's call it, everybody agrees on. You've got a head of gold, which is the Babylonian Empire. You've got the silver, or brass, which is the Medes and Persians. Then you got silver, and then you have iron, which is the Roman Empire. And if I've got those out of order, I apologize, but there's no dispute. Pretty much, I don't care what your eschatology is, everybody agrees that it's Babylonians, Medes and Persians, Greek, and then Roman Empire. I mean, everybody agrees. Yeah, anyways. So then the part that gets tricky is the toes. The feet and the toes are a mixture of clay and iron, and for some weird reason, the way a lot of people's eschatology goes is that, we're clicking right through. We're going, Babylonian leads right into the Medes and the Persians, which leads right into the Greek Empire, which leads right into the Roman Empire. But magically, the 10 toes, that's 10 very scary little nations and scary stuff that just hasn't happened yet. And who knows? Maybe that's what it is. But it does seem interesting that all the other ones were all directly connected. So you do a little studying on Caesar Augustus, who was basically the emperor when Jesus was born. And he split his kingdom into 10 smaller kingdoms, and he was named King of Kings because he put these kings over these 10 provinces. So there was 10 kingdoms essentially existing under his leadership at the time of Jesus. So in the dream, there's this rock that's cut out without hands from this mountain, and it starts to roll. And it comes and it crushes this idol. and it ends up breaking it all down. And this rock just keeps rolling, and eventually it just fills the whole earth. And obviously that the rock is Jesus. There's no dispute about that. Everybody agrees on that. And you start to think back of what Jesus was telling his disciples, and they were getting to experience the kingdom of God in Jesus. And he was telling them that when he died and went away, sent back the Comforter, and when the temple fell, which happened in 70 AD, that his kingdom was going to rule and reign. But it just wasn't going to look like what they thought it looked like, because they thought that Jesus was going to be this conquering king, of course, who conquered Rome militarily. But I love the picture in that vision that Nebuchadnezzar has of this rock that already brought the kingdom of God 2,000 years ago. And it has been rolling and filling up the earth. And it's like, if that's your eschatology, if that's how you believe, if you believe that we are marching towards a more and more triumphant end instead of doom and gloom, then the kingdom of God is here inside of us. The kingdom of God is being manifested around us more and more. And eventually this mountain is going to fill the whole earth. And when Jesus comes back, instead of coming back for this poor, weary, wounded, hidden, beleaguered little bride, it's like he literally gets sucked down out of the clouds, because the whole earth has just become full of his kingdom. I don't know. That's how I'm feeling now. It's a way better feeling. Maybe you don't agree. It's fine. Took me a minute. But I want to follow this path. It feels a lot more encouraging. A lot more faith. A lot more hope. And there's something about it that just clicks a lot more with my soul. So